Welcome to Rauta, I'm Jerry, and this time we welcome a band from Norway called Terror Machine, which we have here for CD unboxing. Before that, however, let's take a look at the band's basic facts on Metal Archives. Founded a few years ago, the band doesn't still have an album out, but a couple of EPs, single and demo, whatnot. Technically speaking, this could be labeled as side project because it features one current and one ex-members from Flucht, a black metal band that has a couple of albums out, which I reviewed for the site Rauta, and also previous Flucht member is mentioned here on Metal Archives. Now, sometimes this information, what you have here, is not totally up to date, but close enough, so we'll go with that. Now, before I get to talk to you about the music in question, pay attention. Themes are war, death, and negativity based on people reading the lyrics and whatsoever, and genre is listed as black death metal. Now you have something in your mind, I bet, for the genre to be mentioned, and let's go with that. So here we have the machine with a mountain of death, a couple of tanks, and a skeletal mountain. What could really go wrong with black and white? Now, when I saw the cover for the first time, I was roughly thinking of bands like War, which then again was indeed an active war-themed black metal band from Sweden, and very, very intense and all. Now, this CDR, by the way, wouldn't play in my rather picky old-school CD player, Cambridge Audio, so just get your mind prepared for that in case you're going for the CD and you have older CD player. Now, like I said, this was reminding me of War, and as such I was expecting some kind of a war take on black metal, but like I said, it's black and death mentioned there. And now when you have war themes, you're probably thinking the same as me. It's gotta be some kind of a war metal. I mean, when you have black and death with war themes and whatnot, that's probably something that goes in your head. That's definitely something that goes in my head, especially when you see a logo like that. You know, assault guns and logo, which is not exactly very death metallic nor black metallic. Well, partially true. There is a certain kind of a war metal feeling. I mean, the vocals are definitely coming from the black metal side, where some of the riffs are actually quite weird. They're not really black metal. They're definitely more on the death metal side, but even as such, they're a little bit weird. I would go even as far as to say they have some new metal vibes or metalcore vibes. Now, this is actually very, very thing we can really go and argue and talk about, but yeah, it's kind of weird. And then after a few spins, it really struck me like wow, this is something that comes to my mind. It's actually late 90s era Sepultura. I'm talking about post-Chaos AD album, and a little bit Chaos AD as well, but something like Roots and Chaos AD going into war metal territory. Now, if that sounds pretty much weird, or at least unique, well, that's what you really have here. Now, some of the parts are quite fast tempo, and then it's getting more into the traditional war metal side of things, having black metal shriekiness, but death metal riffing, and kind of a chaotic, aggressive output. But then it kind of slows down its tempo, and even has those weird, like waiting for something to happen kind of a killer parts, which is definitely putting me into that Sepultura vibe. Roughly mid to late 90s Sepultura. So it's more like, okay guys, I'm not exactly sure what are you trying to do, but this is weird, because Sepultura isn't actually the first band that comes to your mind when you're talking about war metal. But when I'm listening to this, I get the Sepultura vibes, whereas based on the facts like death, black, and war themes and whatnot, definitely. So it's a bizarre case. I would be lying if I said this was great. I mean, it's nice that these guys have something different, something unusual going on. But musically, it's gonna take a little bit of an acquired taste to fully enjoy it. On top of that, you have rather weird production. The drums are kind of heavy and pounding. Same can be said about the guitar sound. But then again, the guitar sound is also quite demo-like. It's like really missing some kind of edge. So it's like kind of a clumsy, kind of a clanky, kind of a, you know, lacking a punch, but it's also heavy. So it's just like a weird setup in all. And then you have those black metal scream vocals, which are like okay, didn't expect that to come, but why not? Now, especially those lower tempo parts are when the kind of metalcore, new metal things start coming into play, because it's this kind of a breakdown thing, like dun 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 dun, and you're like, okay, let's go on with it. Just push the gas pedal down and let's just do it. A lot of these riffs are quite boneheaded, so if you're looking for some kind of a more complex technical approach to the music, you're gonna be disappointed. But if you expect rather simplistic ways of doing war metal, just with a lot less speed and all, then you might be in for it. But it's a bizarre case, and I guess this band is still very much in progress after these years, and maybe that's the reason why they're not signed to a label for full album, and instead of doing a CD or EP. Very, very acquired taste kind of a thing. Not recommended to everybody, but if you want to know more about what is Sepultura doing war metal, then this is your thing. Now check it out, links provided in the description box. I hope you enjoy it.